So Piers Morgan has just been pretty indiscreet in terms of the royal hatred towards the return of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who he says the royals absolutely do not trust. Now, let me just contextualise a little bit about why we do have to take Piers Morgan seriously on this, even though I'm no major fan of the guy. He's friends with Queen Camilla. He talks to Queen Camilla. He's friends with the Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, and just a few weeks ago was pictured partying with Edo, Beatrice's hubby. And that's a whole other story, but she was there too. So he has direct sources from within the royal family who are telling him, no, we don't trust Meghan, no, we don't want her back, and are even comparing Prince Harry to Brooklyn Beckham. So we're going to get to that in one moment, but first I want to actually show you the Harry and Meghan side and introduce to you a new woman who you may have heard of in recent weeks, because the Sussexes have decided we need a new Omid Scobie. We need a new Omid Scobie. We need a propagandist who is going to go out on the international media and literally repeat the ridiculous. Like, repeat things that are just so extraordinarily untrue that if you were a journalist worth half your salt, and I feel bad for attacking her because she looks like a nice lady, but I'm sorry, when you're a journalist, just because someone is telling you something, you can't just go and repeat it on national television. It's your job to check, is what I am being told at all true? And you'll remember that Omid Scobie lost all credibility. He has had to crawl away from journalism, a pathetic and failed figure after his last book flopped, because eventually, if you just repeat lies enough, no one is going to trust you. So that's my warning to this woman called Bronte Coy, who the Sussexes have grabbed hold of to be their new propagandist in the media. And again, I want to be clear, this is not a personal attack on a woman who seems like a perfectly affable lady, but it's not the point. She's got a job to do, and she's letting down her profession at the moment. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you the receipts, because she actually appeared on this Piers Morgan show to suggest that there is now like some type of hope of Prince Harry being welcomed back permanently to the UK within the royal fold, saying there are movements in that direction. And then, and this is when I was like, oh my God, this is why they've chosen an Australian who knows nothing about what's going on in the royal family, because she describes it as a logical next step. What? A logical next step to describing the British royal family as racist. I mean, this is nutty stuff. We're going to get analysis from Brittany of the Royal News Network along the way.
Few public figures have been as outspoken about Meghan Markle as broadcaster Piers Morgan. For years, he has criticised the Duke and Duchess of Sussex over their interviews, media projects, and public statements. His latest comments have once again sparked headlines and intense discussion among royal watchers. According to recent commentary, Morgan argues that trust between the Sussexes and senior members of the royal family has been badly damaged. Those comments have fueled renewed debate online. Supporters of Harry and Meghan argue that the couple have every right to tell their story and explain their experiences.
But unfortunately, there's a lot of propaganda being spread on this new establishment mainstream media royal show. I'm going to be honest about it, because Katie Nicholl is also spreading Harry and Meghan propaganda, where she goes onto the show and claims without any evidence that there is a picture, which we've never heard about before. We've never heard before from the Sussexes that there is a picture of the late Queen, Elizabeth II, with Lilibet. And not only that, she goes on to say that according to people who witnessed Lilibet and the Queen together, who she has directly spoken to, well, come on, who were those people? Harry and Meghan. Like, who else witnessed that interaction? And she says there was a lovely bond, just a lovely bond that we've never heard about before from the real Lilibet and the fake Lilibet. Look, Brittany, I just have a problem with all of this, because it is just, and in fairness, Piers Morgan does actually introduce the balance, and we will get to that. But this is just out and out Sussex propaganda of the highest level. Like, it's not logical that as a next step, because they've failed in America, they come and rejoin the British royal family. It seems very difficult to believe that there is some unknown bond between the late Queen and Lily. Like, Harry and Meghan would have spoken about that, wouldn't they?
Oh, they would have, Dan. And as far as I'm aware, the meeting happened between the Queen and the Sussexes only at Windsor Castle. She had mobility issues. Why in the world would she go to a 1-year-old's birthday party that's in the grass outside, given her health at the time? That just doesn't even make sense. And so the only situation we know of that happened was at Windsor Castle. They had a brief meeting. Charles and Camilla, they had to meet, Harry and Meghan, with Charles and Camilla first before meeting with the Queen. It was very short. A photographer from the palace took a picture, and as far as I'm aware, the palace owns a picture, not Harry and Meghan. And that's the only interaction. So that story to me just doesn't even make any sense. And of course, Bronte's story as well is like, well, Harry and Meghan, I mean, they don't know what else to do, so they're just going to come back to the UK and be working royals. I mean, at least they're acknowledging, I guess, in their own propaganda how much they failed. So that's one thing. But this is not how royalty works. You can't just walk back in when you tried something else and it failed miserably. You left. And because of the very specific job that royals have, which is representing the government to a broad extent, Charles is the head of state, and members under him also represent the state in various capacities. It doesn't make sense at all for Harry and Meghan to just waltz back in as if nothing has happened. They can, yes, have familial relations with people, personal ones, but not dynastic ones anymore. They've left that behind. And the British public doesn't really want them. Like, nobody really wants them around. I mean, I'm not even entirely believing that even Harry's own family wants him around. So this idea that he thinks he's going to waltz back in and everybody's going to go, oh, yay, Harry, is just a fanciful delusion on his part. But Harry and Meghan do live in delusion. It's how they've kept going, I think, this far, is that they have to delude themselves constantly as to their state in life. But they failed in Hollywood, they failed in the royal family, and they're going to try to fall back to the royals, but I just don't think that is a situation that will work at all, and they definitely will not be welcomed back, especially with the reign of King William on the horizon here at some point.
And especially when it's like a consolation prize, like, oh, it didn't work out, so we're going to give you a go, Absolutely not. In fairness to him, Piers Morgan did balance that up, actually. And he said that he knows for a fact, and I've explained that I believe this because I'm just going to be honest, I believe this is coming from Queen Camilla, Princess Beatrice, and Princess Beatrice's husband, Edo, who have a friendship with Piers Morgan. And he says he knows for a fact that there is wariness amongst the royals about the return of Harry and Meghan, and he compares Harry to Brooklyn Beckham. It's brutal stuff. And Piers is now advocating for their titles to be stripped. And what I thought was really interesting here is Robert Jobson, who is someone who appears here on Outspoken, and I have described him as the journalist closest to King Charles, played down the significance of what a meeting would actually mean.
There is a mechanism for stripping them of their titles. Why should they be allowed to march around the world with unofficial royal visits, making tons of money for themselves in the process without doing any royal duty whatsoever? Why should they?
Totally right.
It's absolutely outrageous.
And also, why should they have the titles, the children as well, Prince and Princess? It's a load of old nonsense. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex...
I thought they weren't going to use their titles,
They're not
the children.
Supposed to use the titles. That's what they agree.
Oh, she'll be using all the titles.
That's what they agree. But the fact is that they're going to come here. It's going to be turned into a circus. No matter what anybody says, it will be the big moment. The King has had a gun held to his head. Effectively, they've said, we're coming over. All the leaks have come out to say they're coming over with the kids. Therefore, what does he do? He says, OK, you can use the palace if you give enough notice. But ultimately, how long will he spend with them? No more than half an hour if it happens. Will Camilla be there? Absolutely not. Will William be there? Absolutely not. Will they meet their cousins? No, they won't. So how much has been repaired here? Nothing.
Will they be...
So, Brittany, I actually think a lot of interesting stuff there. And personally, I believe Piers Morgan there, his reporting is much closer to the truth than Bronte's, because he's basically saying, look, I know for a fact, and as I say, he was out partying with Edo and Beatrice the other day. He is friends with Camilla. I know for a fact that the royals don't want these two coming back, that they're not looking forward to it, and actually confirming the report that I made earlier this week, that there is genuine fear that Meghan is going to use the trip to try and save her failing business.
Critics believe the repeated public disclosures have made reconciliation much harder. What is important to remember is that commentary about the private views of King Charles, Prince William, or other members of the royal family is rarely confirmed publicly. While media outlets often cite unnamed sources, Buckingham Palace generally does not comment on private family matters. That leaves room for speculation, and plenty of debate. There is no doubt that relations between Prince Harry and parts of his family have been strained for several years. Harry's memoir Spare, television interviews, and documentaries brought deeply personal disagreements into the public eye. At the same time, Harry has repeatedly said that he hopes reconciliation remains possible. Those two realities exist side by side. A public airing of grievances, and a stated desire to heal family relationships. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle continues to attract both strong support and strong criticism. Every public appearance, every business venture, and every media interview becomes front-page news. That's one reason comments from high-profile personalities like Piers Morgan receive so much attention. They reinforce an ongoing public conversation that extends far beyond one interview or one headline.
I mean, Dan, when you look at this whole situation, it's just absolute chaos. And that just embodies everything about Harry and Meghan. Since she walked into Harry's life, it has been nothing but absolute chaos and toxicity. And I don't think the royals want that. I genuinely think they all sort of want to get along. Yes, they have their spats from time to time. Any family or group does. But they want to move together in harmony. And Harry and Meghan are the antithesis of that. So there is no point in bringing them back into this nonsense. There's just absolutely no point. They are kind of useless in this scenario. Meghan was a horrible royal. Harry is now kind of no better. And so there's no real point in bringing them back for sure. And so I think the monarchy is rather smart to keep them at a distance. But of course, again, Charles wants to have a relationship with his grandchildren. We can all understand that. But I think some firm boundaries need to be set, and Charles needs to be definitely a bit stronger here. And I think it's time to strip the titles. Yes, your son will be upset, but he's been upset and a brat for years anyways. Just go ahead and deal with the latest temper tantrum and just get rid of the titles, because it is damaging Charles's reign for sure. And he needs to adjust and make sure that Harry can't do further harm with Meghan, because she's definitely going to try to sell as ever there. I don't think it'll be successful, because it's not even successful here. I think the business is totally going to go bankrupt. But we shall see. But yeah, she's definitely going to be attempting to push as ever. Maybe she'll send as ever gift bags or something to members of the royal family, and they'll all throw them in the bin or something. That would be rather hilarious if they shared that.
Indeed. But look, you're so right about the damage that Harry is going to be doing, Brittany, because Lauren the Insider has just been able to reveal what she claims is proof that the BBC actually lied over this donation. You know, this donation that Harry apparently made to children in need, and that he said was worth £1.1 million. It has now been revealed that actually that £1.1 million didn't come from his personal pocket, but rather another charity. But Lauren, who was always suspicious of where Harry got the money from, got the BBC, effectively trapped them into a lie. Quite rightly, she did great journalistic work. Lauren believes there's a bigger story to this, because she says the BBC's lie proves that Prince Harry is still being protected by the British establishment.
It is one big club, insiders. I have long said the establishment are still protecting Prince Harry. At this point, I would argue, did he ever really leave? Today, I am showing you explosive proof of how the BBC lied to me. That is our national broadcaster that is paid for by us. And they lied to protect Harry. They lied to try and rehabilitate his image.
I mean, Brittany, this is so bad. It is so bad, isn't it? Because they directly on the record responded saying this was a personal donation. It was not.
It wasn't. And Of course, all of us at the time, I remember thinking of the donation going, Meghan Markle would never allow Prince Harry to give that much of their personal wealth to anything that's not Cartier. So there's no doubt in my mind that that was not money from Harry and Meghan's personal account, but it was so reported in that way. And of course, it was spin. It was propaganda. It was direct misinformation by Harry and Meghan and their team. And it was meant there to make Harry look good. Oh, he's going back to the UK. Oh, look, he's giving all this money. When, of course, his father and his brother, of course, are giving more money. And so it's just one of those ways that Harry and Meghan continue to try to kind of slime their way into the good graces of the British public. Because I also thought as well, is like, that's a lot of money to give to one charity. If you're going to give that much, why not spread it around to a bunch based on need? But of course, this was entirely done through the Glen, I can't remember what the name, Glen Bay Foundation or whatever. They are the ones who actually donated it. They're the ones who actually gave the money. And that's just so important for Harry and Meghan to acknowledge, because it reinforces the public perception that they are liars, that they're completely willing to lie if it suits them. And that's just such a bad thing. And of course, it would have always become public. So why Harry needed to lie about it is just beyond me. It was just a fool's errand. And sometimes, let's say the person who responded in the BBC email, maybe they didn't know the truth. I don't know. But everything is just, when it comes to Harry and Meghan, is immense. They constantly make other people look bad as well, because they can't just do the simple thing, which is tell the truth.
And Brittany, can we just end with my favourite story of the week? A little palate cleanse. Princess Anne, the queen of recycling another outfit this week. Brittany, let's look at it, because this is a recycled outfit from 1984. I was 1 year old at that point, and she looked just as spectacular in said outfit in 2026, Brittany. I love it.
I love that she rewears things. It's just so cool that she constantly goes back into her closet. And it kind of goes to show that she doesn't really chase trends or styles. She just has her own. She's willing to buy, well, let's say, made pieces that keep for a long time. And when she's looking for something, she's like, well, I'll just go into my archive or go into the second closet or whatever, and I'll pull out this dress because I remember it. I would be so curious if she has some sort of book of her looks that she can kind of go through and find. I'd be super curious, because she pulls out these things. It's like, how did you still know you had that in your closet? Where did you find that? It's absolutely amazing and incredible, and shows again what a wonderful member of the royal family Anne is, that she just kind of goes back into her closet and finds old things. She doesn't need a new outfit all the time or needs to spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars on anything. She is just like perfectly content.
Another question often raised is whether Meghan will spend more time in the United Kingdom in the future. So far, there has been no official announcement that she intends to resume any role as a working royal. Most discussion about a so-called return comes from commentators interpreting future possibilities rather than confirmed plans. The larger issue remains trust. Can years of public disagreement be overcome? Can Harry rebuild his relationship with his father and brother? And can both sides eventually move beyond one of the most public family disputes in modern history? Those questions remain unanswered. What is clear is that public fascination with the Sussexes shows no signs of slowing down. Every new interview, every appearance, every opinion from a well-known commentator adds another chapter to a story that continues to captivate audiences around the world. Whether reconciliation comes soon, much later, or not at all, only the people directly involved know what conversations are happening behind closed doors. Until then, much of what appears in headlines should be viewed as analysis, opinion, or reported claims rather than established fact. Now we'd love to hear from you. Do you think reconciliation between Prince Harry and the royal family is still possible? Or has too much happened over the past few years? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal news and analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.